Can We Just Play is a groundbreaking radio show broadcast from the Boat Pod. Each episode features engaging conversations with artists, cultural makers, and everyday people about play. We delve into how play intersects with work, life, cultural identities, society, and social histories. My name is Imwen, and I create spaces for adults to play. That's play in adulthood and not adult play, although that's also play too. To me, play is art, books, music, poetry, movies, sport, comedy, and daydreaming. Welcome to Can We Just Play? This week we'll be discussing play with Olivia Emma. So, hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
Olivia Emma is a London-based digital artist, creative technologist, who is redefining the boundaries between technology, design, and culture. Renowned for your visionary approach, you seamlessly blend 3D, collage, generative design to create immersive visual experiences that resonate both emotionally and culturally. Your creative process is intuitive, collaborative, and rooted in deep listening and research, and it's driven by a relentless curiosity about how technology can amplify authentic stories. You've built an amazing reputation for pioneering innovative storytelling, whether it's art direction, immersive installations, experiences, AR experiences, or motion design. And you have this mastery of tools like Unreal and Touch Designer. So jealous. I love the way that you transform concepts into dynamic, people-centered narratives that push the limits of creative technology. It's something that we really need right now. So, whether you're leading campaign or teaching the next generation of creatives by bridging the gap between creative vision and technical possibility, you're very inspirational. And I love the way that you inspire people to define success on their own terms. So welcome.
Oh my gosh, what an intro. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, thank you for being here. I'm going to get into the first question. So I'd like you to tell me about what's been holding your attention or your interest sort of right now, currently.
Oh, so right now, what's holding my interest and my attention? I'm currently working on a festival, and it's perfect because it's going to allow me to bridge technology with interactions with people in an environment that celebrates music and allows people to have fun and play and enjoy themselves. So I've always said that I've loved to be behind the scenes of fun. So I love when people are dancing, enjoying themselves, and I'm kind of like orchestrating it behind the scenes. That's my way of enjoying. So this working on this festival is my opportunity to really delve into how do I construct that environment for people. It's going to be super interactive, sort of in that it's going to be like camera feed overlays. Okay. It's going to be responsive to people, and I'm using Touch Designer to create that experience. But of course, there's so many in-between things, like trying to make sure the tech aligns and syncs up and everything works. That's the daunting bit.
Technology.
Yes. So yeah, that's what's grabbing my attention right now.
Well, where is that?
At Margate for Recess Land.
Okay, fantastic. What playful activities or games have been capturing your attention recently?
So this is a game that I have been familiar with since a child. Sims. Sims has been grabbing my attention as of late, and fortunately I've gotten my niece into it as well.
Okay.
So I was actually searching for a game to play or something that I could do outside of work, because I regard work as play, fortunately. And I was kind of shying away from Sims because it's too similar to what I explore at work. So it didn't feel like too much of a separation. And I was worried that if I played Sims, I would be thinking about, can I reconstruct this on Unreal Engine? Can I reconstruct my own Sim, meta-humans
work
like this?
and play.
Yes.
simultaneously.
Exactly, which is great, but like not the aim. But yeah, I've been really enjoying playing Sims. Sims is one of those games where I play and time just it slips through my fingers, which is a double-edged sword.
So many people. That's always the comment with Sims.
Yeah,
The
time just goes.
Yeah.
But it's
that's great.
nice.
That's a point of play, and I think we need a lot more of that, don't we? Really.
And it's being comfortable with that as well, because when I think of play, I think of when children play, because I believe that that's the most authentic expression of play. And they're not thinking about time.
No.
They have to be reminded about time.
They do.
So when time is slipping between my fingers, I'm having to relax my brain in that.
Yeah.
Don't, like, it's okay. It's fine. You're enjoying yourself. Like, this is great. Time flies when you're having fun. So yeah, that's what's been grabbing my attention as of late. That's the game. And then what else? Yeah, I think that's the main thing. And then also watching my niece get into a game that I love as well. It's nice to see her play, and she's introduced me to a whole other different world of games as well, like Roblox, even though like her mum's banned her. I'm that auntie that's like, okay, like we'll play Roblox together. And it's nice because she gets to show me where she goes on Roblox.
Roblox is a whole nother world.
Yes.
I think my niece as well, Roblox, and you know, they have Croydon.
Oh my gosh.
Roblox.
Huh?
Yeah. They have Croydon.
Somebody went out of their way to reconstruct Croydon in Roblox.
Yes.
Okay. Shout out Croydon. That's amazing.
It's great. So I'm just like, oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's that, for me, like seeing her play Roblox is really fascinating because she's got a shop in Roblox, and she restocks the shop with different goods. And then when people pay for her items, she's learning money. She's 7 years old.
Yes.
So she's asking me about what, change I should give the
business.
Yeah, and I'm just I'm like, this is perfect. This is what math should
meanwhile,
be.
when I was a child and I had a tea set.
Yeah. And I guess that's the perfect way that play can teach you things, and you're learning through play.
Always learning through play, sort of as a child, as an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. How often do you play? And have your play habits evolved, or your choices evolved over time, would you say?
How often do I play, and has it evolved? So as I was saying before, like fortunately I do regard work as play. It is a stressful kind of play. I don't want to make it sound like I'm just playing. But fortunately, I have been able to construct work so that I am getting some kind of enjoyment out of it. And the way I interact with work is I tend to call it experimenting. And experimenting is almost like that in-between bridge that I could relay to people. I'm experimenting without saying I'm playing. Because when you say you're playing, it sounds like you're not being serious, and people want you to...
People have all of these narratives and that idea around what play is.
Yes.
So, yeah, they're very much sort of like, play is here and work is here.
Yeah.
And I think it's right what you said, when you love what you do, work becomes play.
Yes.
Yes.
And as it should be, I believe, because I'm uncovering especially with technology as well, I'm uncovering new possibilities, trying different things. And it requires a level of openness, which play does facilitate. So I approach work through the lens of experimentation. Experimentation allows me to play, try different things. If things doesn't work, I try something else. And then it's almost like my play is like I've become a scientist, and I'm at my lab and I'm trying different things, and like, oh, this generated this. Oh, I'm going to save that for another different experiment. So I play at work. I'm learning different things when I am working. And what other forms of play? I guess that's the main one. And has it evolved? Yes. From a child to now, when I was a child, I didn't have any autonomy, and when children don't have that much autonomy. So playing Sims for me was the safe gateway for me to explore different realities, different worlds, explore different kind of things. And then when I did have the autonomy as I grew older, what did I do with that autonomy? I worked.
Like the message that we get told, you become an adult and, play gets sat down and work takes the forefront.
I mean,
although we know different now, but
I would say, I don't even want to say work. I want to say I constructed my own world that allows me to play as a form of sustaining myself and as a form of allowing myself to thrive and navigate the world and meet different people, amazing people, and see different things that otherwise it wouldn't have thought I would see and experience. So I don't want to just limit it and say work, because work has its own kind of a connotation or things attached to it. So I would say, I constructed my reality, and I guess my form of play is exploration, and exploration in the form of travel, being in different spaces, being exposed to different things, perspectives. I really love to learn. Like, I was that child where my dad would be like, oh, let's go out for a walk, let's go to the park. And my sister would go with him, but I'll be like, I want to make a PowerPoint for when you come back. Because I want to learn some stuff on Wikipedia, and I want to put it on a PowerPoint and present it. That was my play.
That was your play.
So I'm having to remind myself that is play.
Yes.
Play doesn't always look like, you're playing a game or running around.
No.
It can also look like learning.
So many different things.
And
so many different things for different people.
Yes. Yeah. And I have to hold true to that, because sometimes I can feel guilty about that, especially when I used to hear phrases like, oh, you're always working, or stop working. I'm like, but I know work means something different for me.
Yeah.
So constructing a reality.
Yes. I think it's really important in play. I'm here talking about play, but in play, because people always ask me, what is play? And I'm kind of like, well, I know what it is for me, but I can't define it for anybody else. And I think that it's really important for people to define it definitely for themselves.
Yes.
And we all play differently.
Yeah.
And we all have to acknowledge that. And there are so many definitions in the world where, sort of like people tell you what play is, performative play, play with objects, but, it's 2025, we can define it for ourselves. And, I think we've had this conversation before. Lots of people think that they don't play because they don't fit into these very strict definitions of what it is. But, I think I gave the example, my parents would say that they don't play, but my mum speaks to her family every other day at least, and sometimes every day. And that conversation and the laughing and the kicking of that's so playful. So I'm like, that's where you play.
Yeah.
It comes in that form. So, I think, we're allowed to define it for ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think because I was thinking about, what does play mean to me? Play means being inspired. And that's so vague. And I feel like it's important that it is vague. Because I really there was a breakdown that I heard of the word inspiration many years ago. And the breakdown is being in spirit. Being inspired is in spirit. And that's what play is. You're in spirit. You're just moving. You're just doing things just because you're inspired to turn this cloth into I don't know, fort or something. I don't know. Or it's like your magic floating carpet. Like, you're just moving with your imagination, inspired to do just because.
Creating new realities.
Yes.
Yeah. Playing.
Exactly.
Who do you play with? And how have they influenced your relationship with play? So I know you mentioned your niece.
Yeah.
Which is Roblox. And now you're passing on Sims. Is there anybody else that you play with?
Who do I play with? Yes, you're right in mentioning my niece. My niece reminds me about different kinds of play. And it's nice as well because she's a learner just like myself, so I feed into that. But I guess I try to play with whoever I'm in conversation with. Again, having to remind myself, there's so many different kinds of play. But when you mention your mum and the conversations that she has, and she's laughing and giggling and stuff, for me, I try and hold that space with whoever I'm with, because I can be quite serious, but also I don't like to take myself too seriously. And I try and invite that energy with other people so they have that space to just show up and be who they are. Yeah. And then I guess for me, the way I feel most comfortable is where things feel a little bit spontaneous. It's not too, it has to be in this kind of way. And that for me is like, oh, I don't know where this moment could lead.
See what will happen.
Yeah, and I guess that's a way in which time can escape me. I do like it, but I feel like I need to have I have to manage my time a little bit more. But when I am having my most, enjoying myself and having my most fun, it's when the moment just kind of takes me, especially when I'm with somebody and the conversation's great and we're just chatting away, yapping, or we decide to go to one random place like that. Again, exploration is something that I love to share with somebody else in big and small ways.
Okay. You might have answered this already, but I'm going to ask it. When do you like to play? Is there a specific time of day that feels the most natural to you?
Absolutely. Nighttime.
Yes.
It's like the world is silent and I get to go into my flow state and just play around with, because a lot of the work that I do is abstract. I get to play around with color combinations, shapes and forms, lights, see what matches music. I'm just like, I'm really in flow. And that's so fun because no emails are popping up. No messages I need to respond to because it's like early in the AM or whatever. And I love that. And and then I have a track playing in the background. I'm just totally like focused in flow. And I see my best work comes out in those moments as well, because I'm not restricting myself. I'm totally open. Definitely
There's
nighttime.
also a time where you're sharing your work as well with people. And there's, I guess, that in some ways, that response from as well, responding to what you're sharing.
Yeah. In daytime. In the daytime, that's when it's like I take the magic that was born of the nighttime into the day, and like this is what. And also then I love to. I mean, sort of like in your visuals, you know, like if you're at festivals or in like in that space. Yes. And I'd like to believe that people feel that energy of just experimentation, total flow. And then, I'm able to bring it into the day. But my perfect time, nighttime for sure.
Let's take a moment and tune in to your musical side and see how play plays a part in your playful experience. So we're on a radio show. So I want to ask, what's a song that always energizes you? And what is it about that track that sparks your energy?
Okay, so this is a track that is a relatively new one, and it's very relevant for my season because there's a lot of things going on, and the song is called... Do I intro the song?
Yes, you can intro the song, okay. Of course.
The song is called Update by Burna Boy, which was very fitting. Update, I've got lots of different things going on, lots to update. When it gets played, there's a really interesting energy of like, it's got like a bravado kind of like, this is me, this is what I'm accepting, which is nothing less. And it's like, it's a really...
Where do you feel it first?
Ooh.
Sorry, I'm like interrupting.
No, I'm really thinking. I guess when we play, I'll feel it. But when I first heard it, because I'm not somebody who's like in personality, somebody who's like talk your talk. Like that's not my personality at all. I'd like to believe I'm quite calm. But Burna Boy is not like that. he's very much like got this energy of like, I'm the shit. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, yes.
I'm that person. I'm that guy.
We are adults who play, so yes.
Okay. I'm that guy. I'm going to talk my talk. Like,
Yeah.
this is my reality. I'm not
Yeah.
accepting anything less. So, like, when I heard it when I was with your son, when we played it, I was like, oh, okay, he's saying some things. But I had to remember, like, no, he's really owning himself.
Yes.
And it's almost like when I listen to that, I'm borrowing off that energy. Like, yes,
so like
this
embodying that
yeah,
energy. And
like
it's kind
I'm
of
doing
like
some really cool
transfer
things. I'm really loving what I'm
Yes.
doing. I'm going to claim
Yes,
this for
you
myself
are.
as well. So when I play it, it makes me feel like, I guess, maybe in my chest, I feel it.
Yeah.
Maybe in my
Yeah,
shoulders.
in your
I don't
shoulders.
know. When we play it, we'll
Yeah,
see.
there we go. And that's the cue to play the music.
Yes.
Back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to the here and now. Yeah.
On my day, then no fit touch my energy. Abba, I time. If I no get money, not disability. Baba, so forget me, my shy blocking. My loss out, ready for one cow. I got the cow. My updates go late power. One power. Take them to your cow. My love, I'm about to sue up to a shower. Now my fruit of labor, every day I dey spray money. Come out and let me love my lady. You go see, say I am melody. Mo kàn pé wọ́n débẹ̀ o. Vanilla kẹtàn, mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn o. Every woman give me special treatment. Wọ́n fi mí lẹ̀ nígbà kan. Má lọ sá o, ready fún wọn ká o. Àgbà bí àká o, gba update kò lè pa o. Wọ́n bá o, take them to jàǹká o. Má lọ wá o, ọmọ bá Jésù ọkọ̀ àṣà o.
Back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to life, back to reality, back to the here and now. Yeah.
Má lọ sá o, ready fún wọn ká o. Àgbà bí àká o, gba update kò lè pa o. Wọ́n bá o, take them to jàǹká o. Má lọ wá o, ọmọ bá Jésù ọkọ̀ àṣà o.
Hello.
Okay, so we're back. So we're going to take a journey to where it all began. I want to speak about your early influences. So what were your parents' attitudes and beliefs around play? Did they play with you? Did they make specific time to play?
Wow.
Jumped straight in there.
It's getting deep. I experienced two Okay, so first person who was a huge playful person and is to this day, my dad.
Yeah.
Super, super, super playful. He loved and still loves his games, his flight simulators, car games, shooting games, any kind of game. Very much got me into gaming.
Okay.
And he also poured into me a love of learning. So he used to take myself and my sister to museums, museums, and like he's got the most random just reservoir of knowledge as well. So he'd be telling me about, this is how you could tell a tree is aging, it's through the rings, like pointing at a random stub in this museum, and like he would just fill me with wonder in a sense of like, I just love to learn different things, and he very much facilitated that. So yeah, myself and my dad played all the time, and then obviously there was like parks and playing football and stuff. And then my mum, her form of play was the jokes.
Okay.
She was very like, as much as I guess I embody her a little bit more now, but she's quite a serious woman, very much like she dreams big, she works just as hard.
Okay.
But she also has this very silly kind of part to her where she's like, if you're being too serious, like she will like, what are you doing?
I'll shake you.
Yeah, like she'll shake you. Or like she's very much like, her jokes will be very she's almost shaking you, like, come on, like there's a life to live kind of energy.
Enjoy yourself.
But at the time, when I was a child, I didn't used to see that as play.
Okay.
I used to see it as like, you're teasing me, leave me alone, Mom. Because in that respect, maybe I was like a little bit of a serious child, in that like she would often encourage me, go out, like go clubbing and stuff. At your age, I was like clubbing. And I would be like, I want to go to this exhibition. So I didn't see her energy as play.
Okay.
I saw it as like, she's just getting at me.
Yeah.
Whereas my dad was more like, almost like our play was matched a little bit more.
Yes.
So I experienced those different
two.
spectrums of play.
Sounds like a good balance in
Yeah.
some ways.
Because one, I guess, with my mum, I would say she embodies that in her essence, in that she could be she could go to the market and she's haggling, she's haggling something, but she's playing with...
Which is playing.
Yeah, she's playing with the person in the market, or haggling, and, you know, I was able to see these different kind of personas come out of her, which was really fascinating. Sometimes I would actually step back, like, look at my mum, like, what is she doing? But she was like really embodying this kind of energy that was just so fascinating to me. So she embodied that, and my dad was more the introspective kind of play, where it's like his play would be by himself. He's playing his games, researching something, very much loves his movies, very much wants to go to museums and exhibitions, which is that part of me as well.
Got you. So right now, who do you play with the most? Friends, family, associates?
I would say all of the above. Yeah, I would very much say all of the above. Similar to my mum, I like to try and push the boundaries of how I could show up with different people, and I don't know how that could look at any given moment. And that's the part of play, the spontaneity. With friends, I'm just really silly with friends. I don't take myself too seriously at all with friends, which is a complete opposite to me when I'm working. I'm very much focused, but with friends, I'm really silly. I really allow my brain to just turn off.
Sounds like you have a bit of an element of what you said about your mum, who does a thing to...
Yeah. Speaking about it now, I'm like, okay, I could see. I could see that more clearly now. With different people, it shows up differently, but I would say that element of play never goes away with me.
Can you recall a song from, sort of one of the first albums that you brought, or an album that really resonated with you?
So... the first album that really left an impression on me I was in college, and I think I was just coming into my music taste at that time. What can I say about this album? This album's a brilliant album. Sorry, I've had coconut water in my tummy's making noise.
We're adults, make noises. The tummy is playing.
Yeah, brilliant album. I really love this album because it's full of storytelling.
Yes.
And it's so vivid and it's very emotive.
Yeah.
And just so descriptive. Listen, Frank Ocean is the person who made this album, and he's a brilliant songwriter,
Agreed.
storyteller,
Agreed.
and he just has this mastery of music, which coming
Agreed.
into as a young adult, being in college was just brilliant for me. So it's left an impression to this day, and I make a point of revisiting it every so often. So yeah, the album is Channel Orange, and the song is Monks. This song in particular inspired me because growing up, I was quite sheltered despite the playful elements of my parents. There was a lot of sheltering. And this song, Monks, feels a little bit rebellious.
Okay.
It feels a little bit like explorative, and the way Frank Ocean just describes the people in the song, they're just daring to go outside of themselves and their identities, which is very much something I was trying to do as a young adult. So yeah, I would say Monks by Frank Ocean.
Okay, let's line it up.
Mosh pits and beer chests, stage diving, skydiver, spray the crowd with cold water. Now it's mosh pits and wet tits. I think I need a cold shower, cool water. African girl speaks in English accents, likes to fuck boys in bands, likes to watch westerns and ride me without the hands. Show me her passport, she's on her own tour, but you're beautiful to me. Ooh, wave 'em high, girl, to the sky, but you're beautiful to me. We're in the clouds, wave 'em high, girl, to the sky, but you're beautiful to me. Oh, light in the clouds, keep 'em high, y'all, in the sky. Monks in the mosh pit, stage diving Dalai Lama, feet covered in cut flowers. They mosh for enlightenment, clean chakra, good karma. Oh, one with the water. Indian girl sleeps above the temple, planning to run away, young at heart. You found a boyfriend and now you wanna get away, get away. Just a virgin, love wanna get away, get away. In that sunset, they're gonna try and get away, get away. I pay mudra. I never asked for much, but please keep up the love. We've got no choices left. The run is fast. Run, 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 run. You're beautiful to me. Run, 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 run. You better run. You mean so much to me. In my world, we made it safely. Even with your father's army trailing us, we escaped him. Even with his archers bows at our backs, what a great escape. But there's a long way still, in fact. We're lost in a jungle underneath these clouds. There's a monsoon that never ends. A coke white tiger woke us from our slumber to guide and protect us to the end. We're in the clouds, wave 'em high now to the sky. But you're beautiful to me. Oh. Keep 'em high, y'all. Show you right. But you're beautiful to me. Oh. Right. Beautiful.
Thank you for that track.
Thank you for letting me play that.
That's what we're here for. Now, we're going to shift back to your personal play identity. What do you love about play?
What do I love about play?
Yes. So what are the aspects that bring you the most joy or fulfillment?
Yes. I love the spontaneity that comes of play. It feels like the most natural energy for me to have. Because I feel like growing up and just being an adult, being in the working world and capitalism, it forces you to be in a box. You very much have to be linear and you have to make sense and you have to be orderly and all of these different things that you associate with being in the working world and being an adult. But with me, when it comes to play, it's an opportunity to let all of that stuff go. You could be anything, you could do anything, you could show up in any way. And it's nice because when I am able to play and I see those parts of myself, I'm able to bring it back to the surface and reintegrate it into my more dominant personality or way of being. And that's always really nice because it's almost like I'm being reintroduced to myself. Like, oh, why did I stop doing this?
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I forgot that I enjoyed that, but I really enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's so refreshing because it's like I'm coming back with energy. And then I try not to forget it again. But then I guess that's the point of play. You return back and it's like you're refueling.
Yeah.
So I really love the reinvigoration that comes from play. I like the spontaneity, the joy. It allows me to wear a smile freely when I play, because life is quite serious and hard. There's a lot of things that are hard out there, but when you tap into that energy and the spirit of play, it allows you to exhale, smile brightly and boldly, and it's like a release or relief.
How would you describe your personal play style? So what's your approach to playful moments? Are you super competitive or are you a social player?
There's a game that I love, but I also try to avoid. And it has a reputation for bringing out sides of people. This game is Monopoly.
Yes.
When I play Monopoly or games like that,
Yeah.
I see my competitive side come out.
Okay.
And I love it, but I also have to rein it in because I get really emotional. So I as much as it can be uncomfortable because I don't like to show that element of myself in my everyday, it's also like fun to see that side of me as well. Like getting really worked up that I'm losing Monopoly because I tend to lose Monopoly. Yeah, I like playing that with people. And then my other style of play tends to be quite solo, because I like when my brain takes time to process information. And as I was saying earlier, I love to learn.
Yeah.
So I really do like cherish that time when I am by myself, learning new things, experimenting with new things. And I guess with people, and this is why I kind of say it's a double-edged sword of Monopoly, I'm too self-aware. And as much as I do enjoy it, I don't like being too aware of myself. And when I'm by myself, I'm not, thinking about how I'm being perceived.
Yeah.
So I very much love that form of play where I could just be, and certain parts of my brain are turned off. But yeah, they serve different purposes.
Yeah. And to serve to show, and bring out those sides of ourselves, I guess, that need to show up at certain times. I always say that I'm not competitive at all, and I really don't care, but there are moments where I'm like, wow, wow, you actually want to win this.
Yeah.
and that's okay.
I guess Another side of play that I saw of myself many years ago was when I solo traveled to Amsterdam for the first time. It was my first solo travel trip, so I didn't want to be too far away from home.
Yeah.
And that was nice because I just explored, and I tried mushrooms for the first time. And I was like, okay, if anything happens, let me hitch up a camera. So people know exactly what I've done and how to bring me back if the worst thing happens. And that was fun for me because I got to roam around Amsterdam and I was just exploring. High on these mushrooms, and like the grass was singing to me, and like the world was coming alive in a different kind of way, and it felt like my playground.
Okay.
And that was just another layer of exploration that I'd never allowed or gifted to myself. So I would say exploration is a huge part that I want to lean into more.
Yeah. Well, I understand that, and I understand that definitely work-wise as well. But work as in play. So
Yes.
I, in the last 2 years, do a lot more digital drawing. And I've always drawn, but I forgot about it for a long time. And in the last 2 years, I've been drawing. But I do a lot of stuff by myself where I'm like, this. And then I'm like, or this, or this, or this, which would be really boring to people. But for me, that's so interesting. And, you know, like just shifting it. And I, you know, I have pieces where they were like, I don't know, maybe like 15, 20. There's some people like, why that one? I'm like, no, that bit there's different. But
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. But again, that is something that you do solo
Yeah.
because it's your time to do it in whatever way you like. So I really hear you when you say exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you get to lean into the things that you appreciate
Yeah.
that maybe somebody else wouldn't
Yes.
appreciate, but
Yes.
it tickles something in you.
And it's just for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. What is your secret playground? So where do you carve out these moments of unexpected fun in your life? I don't know. Is it a physical space? Is it a mind space? Is it a digital space?
I would say all of the above. Recently, I've started to see the gym as a playground.
Okay.
I started to, there's a word or phrase that I really love, thought experiments. I've been trying to adopt thought experiments.
Yes.
And I've been playing around with the idea of the gym being like adult playgrounds. Like you think of like playgrounds for kids where there's the monkey bars and all of these different things. It very much mirrors in the gym.
Very much.
And for me, the way I treat exercise is if I treat it too seriously, then I'm not going to show up.
Okay.
But now when I'm exercising, I almost treat it as play because kids are running around. They're not seeing it as exercise. They're just
100%.
running
Yeah.
because it's play.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm on a treadmill, I treat it like an enjoyable experience. I'm going to play my favorite music. I'm going to listen to a podcast that I enjoy. I'm just going to make it fun.
Have fun with it. Yeah.
Or like, you know, if I'm doing any weights, I'm competing with myself.
Yeah.
So it's a safe place for me to be competitive.
No one's going to call you out.
Nobody's going to call me out. I'm not going to be like scared of my own competitiveness. If anything, it reflects beautifully when I'm trying to lift some weights. And then when I've lifted this heavy weight, I go into the rest of my day like, nobody could talk to me. I've lifted X amount. Like nobody can tell me anything. And that's playful for me
Yeah,
because I've been able
totally.
to tap into a different part of myself. So there's there. And then I guess the anchor point is the mental space that I reserve for play because that energy could trickle into gym. It could trickle into when I'm exploring something digitally, when I'm with friends or when I meet people. It's a space that I try to keep open and not let different things like infiltrate and muddy it. So it means that reserving that space means that I could go into the world trusting of myself because I know that I'm not going to take myself too seriously, or like I know I could play with this other person, it's gonna be fun, or I know that okay, all I've got to do is just show up.
Yes.
And it will be great. Like irrespective, like I just need to show up, you know, whether I'm tired, whether I'm like, there's always going to be somebody that I relate to, or a moment that's going to make me smile, or something that's going to be needed, great, whatever. So I would say it's a mental space, and that trickles specifically into, as it relates to work, it allows me to explore more loudly. And it allows for my experiments to be more fun and interesting. And then when I relay that, when I'm speaking or teaching, it allows me to encourage other people as well to just have fun. Because specifically as it relates to emerging technology, can be quite daunting. Like, where do you start? There's so many different technologies out there. There's so many different things to explore. But when you encourage somebody to lean into a place of, oh, follow your curiosity, or like, what did you find interesting, or what do you find interesting, and pairing that with a creative technology, it becomes fun, as opposed to I've got to learn this to advance my career, and you know, there's A, B, and C process. It's like, no, the process is whatever you want it to be. It's between you and you, and then of that, you're going to create something interesting that other people resonate with as well.
Yeah, because you're enjoying it and inspiring you, and it's then going to that energy
It's gonna
you're going to
spill
send
over.
out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Imagine that you had a limitless budget for play.
Oh my gosh.
So that means, like, imagine we're not in the UK. What game or playful experience might you create?
Ooh.
You can share something. You can share an inch, because we're live on a radio show, and you're like, I might want to keep that actually. So something that you're happy sharing.
Yes. I was thinking when I was on holiday. I've forgotten where I was, but I was just thinking about games that transcend language. Like, and I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's games that you could just whip out, and it's universal. I would want to lean into games that help me to connect more with people. If there was an infinite budget, connecting more with people, something that involves travel, because there's an infinite budget. Something that involves like travel, lots of different experiences, both internally and externally, that allows you, forces you to connect with people.
Okay.
You have to connect in some kind of, do you know what? This is making me think of, so I was invited to a birthday party where there was a sock wrestling game. And that was an interesting one.
I have done that before. Not at a party, but
Okay.
in a nighttime, as a nighttime activity. I think I mentioned before you to run an arts organisation,
Yes.
and it's an activity that we've run.
Oh, wow. I don't know what I thought when I was told sock wrestling. I thought it was going to be like cool, like chill. I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, I'll bring my best socks. And they were like, no, bring the socks that it could get torn. And I was like, huh, what kind of game is this? And I instantly regretted saying that I would participate in this sock wrestling. But on the day, it was intense in the best way. It was like, I was so invested. And I thought it was really interesting because you're connecting with somebody, a stranger, in this kind of completely new way. And it was cool as well because before the game began, you're having to relay what your boundaries are. Like, don't touch my face. There's certain like no-go zones kind of thing. But I really love the intensity of that, where it's so physical, but so playful, so respectful, so funny.
And goes
at the same
back to
time.
the play that goes back to that childhood play that we know, where you could get a bit physical with people, which we don't have so much of that in play anymore.
No.
Some of it for good reason,
Yeah.
but having those moments of like all of those, you know, like I feel that those things bring those memories back, you know, to our bodies and to our minds of when we were able to play and be physical with each other and play and have fun and do something new that we haven't done before. And
So
get a little bit competitive.
like with that, I was like discovering of other people. There was different moves that were, there was techniques. And I just thought that was really amazing of that kind of play as well. It's like you're meeting different angles of your body. I don't know. Angles you didn't know your body could do. So I would say if there was an unlimited budget, it would definitely involve travel, some kind of physical, mental connection or emotional, all of the above actually.
If your play style could be captured in one emoji, what would it be and why? But I have to tell you, when I was testing this question, somebody said to me the red balloon, but I don't think they watch YouTube and have seen I don't know if you've seen the show Pop the Balloon.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, maybe not that balloon emoji.
Oh, God.
Red balloon emoji.
That could just get popped. I would say, do you know what? I'm being influenced by being on this boat.
Mm-hmm.
I looked at the logo on the wall of the boat and I'm like, what if play was like a boat? Yeah, I would say that.
Okay.
A boat
emoji.
Because I like the idea, maybe not the reality, of just like sailing into the unknown. Maybe it's a metaphor. I'm really comfortable with the idea of reinventing self and like, and it's one of my favorite traits where I feel like I could be thrown into any environment and I could adapt or I could learn something that's going to allow me to alchemize it into something that works in my favor or somebody else's favor. Like, I feel like very strongly that that's one of my favorite skills. And the idea of sailing into the unknown just feels like, oh, like new adventures, new terrains, new territories. And that's very much ties in new people.
Exploration.
Ties into exploration. And you're having to learn because the seas could be calm one day and chaotic the next. Like you have to like learn to survive and to thrive. So, and I very much liken that to creativity as well, because with my creativity, somebody could come to me with a brief and I don't know the answers for that brief, but I have to be open to figure it out and drawing from references and learning really quickly and maybe on the technical side as well, learning some new stuff, new skills. So very much feels like that creatively, but also the playful element of it is like, I'm on a boat. Like, that's fun. Like, that's amazing. That's scenic. That's interesting. That's cool. So I would say the boat emoji.
There we go. That's a nice one. From boat to music, but we're on a boat. We're on a radio
and we're
show
gonna play
on
music.
a boat, so we're going to play music. What song are you listening to right now, and how is that reflecting your mood or inspiring you?
I've been in the longest phase of drum and bass music. So last year I was working in a club. I was working at Ministry of Sound, and we were very much listening to drum and bass from 9 a.m. And at first that kind of was like, oh, it's taking me aback because I don't really listen to drum and bass, let alone at 9 a.m. But then I started to find myself really focusing and concentrating when I would listen to drum and bass music. And it very much tied into how I grew up as well. So my dad listened to quite a bit of jungle music, and like the car rides home or when he's even working as well, he would listen to jungle. And it transcended to liquid funk and just that world of just fast BPMs. And now I find myself like really just responding to it well. So yeah, this is my phase of drum and bass music, and I'm really embracing all that is drum and bass. And there's this artist called Stecker. we're back.
Okay, so my next question is, what challenges and frustrations have you encountered in your playful pursuits?
The frustration is that I don't play enough. As much as I say, yeah, it's embedded, I feel like I am now in a phase where I want to compound my play. I want it to be magnified, amplified, bigger. Like, I don't want it to be subtle anymore.
No.
It's like a lot more intentional. And the challenge has been creating the infrastructure for that. Because when I think of the purest form of play, which exists within children, they don't have any responsibilities. So it means that the world is their oyster for play. But as an adult, you have to be responsible for all the different things pertaining to your life, and you can't just play all the time. Maybe that's a limiting belief that I'm holding on to. But
We can work towards it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to work towards it in a sense where, like, now I know what I know from my previous lessons and experiences. I'm building out a structure that would allow me more space to show up as more of myself and inviting people along to do the same. I'm learning how much I love playing with people, and it's made me, as of late, lean into any opportunities pertaining to talking about the creative process with people, teaching about I love sharing. I'm now learning myself to love talking.
Yeah.
So I'm now sharing that journey, and that's relating to this phase or that frustration of, I want to do this all the time. I want to do the things that give me energy all the time. So yeah, I guess the frustration has been the well, not frustration, I would say just the challenge has been building out that infrastructure, and the frustration has been, I want to do this more.
Yeah.
I want things to be bigger, but I also am trusting that will come.
That will happen.
Yeah.
Totally. It will happen. I completely understand about building it into making it your everyday. I feel like I've been doing that. I'm still on that process myself, definitely. But I think more and more of my time now feels like play. You know, I spend most of my time with the people that I want to spend it with, in the spaces that I want to be in. So, yeah. But I think it's continual and ever evolving, and as it should be. Do you feel as adults we play enough?
No, not at all. I think there's just so many different responsibilities, so many things to think about, so many different life pressures, things going on in the world, and our focus is torn in all of those different directions, and it doesn't really encourage that time to just play. Like, our attention is a currency now, where, I'm not sure if that's the right word, where you've got social media platforms or platforms that are vying for our attention.
It's monetized.
It's monetized, and that doesn't really allow the space for you to indulge in boredom, which will allow the natural. I want to draw something. I want to take a walk and do X, Y, and Z thing and fill it with things outside of the things that are vying for our attention. I also think with all of that pressure, we want to escape, but I don't really feel like we're escaping into ourselves. I think there's things out there that make it so you escape into those things, as opposed to in yourself, in your interests, in the things that pour into you and rejuvenate you. So yeah, I feel like for a plethora of reasons, we're not playing enough as adults, and I think it would make the world of a difference if we did. We'd all be a little bit more free in ourselves, which would allow us to create, facilitate freedom in somebody else. Somebody else could show up as they are, because you're showing up as you are.
Yes.
But when you don't have that inner freedom, or you feel constricted and all of these pressures, it's almost like somebody's playing and it's like, how dare they? How dare they look free in themselves? How dare they love what they're doing when I don't love what I'm doing?
Comes back to all of those notions that we're taught about, you know, play is here and work is here.
Yeah.
And they're two completely separate things.
Yeah.
And, you know, they never meet, which is wholly untrue. It's sort of like your work is play. You can make your work play and your play work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, talk a little bit about how people, exactly what we've been talking about, people's perception of play, and sort of like what could we do to shift people's perception of play, and help it become a source of inspiration or joy maybe for them, as we've been talking about. Because I think in a lot of spaces when you say play, it has a bit of a bad rap, mainly because people don't know what it is, or, you know, they've been taught they've been taught that they don't play, that adults don't play, or, you know, they've just got here to this country and, you know, they've got to assimilate, and to assimilate is not to play, because they've got to be serious, and that's their perception. So what could we do to shift how people perceive play, maybe?
I think firstly it's, from my perspective, not negating those like really hard realities and the feelings that come with it, but it's also recognizing that play is an extremely valuable resource too. Play allows you to tap into your ingenuity, which will help with those other things, I believe. For me, when I've been really tense in my body, tense in my mind, it doesn't allow that space for inspiration, and that space for inspiration is needed to solve that creative challenge or that life challenge. It allows me to connect with the right people, things that my brain couldn't have possibly come up with if I strategized and planned for everything. There's certain things that you can't plan and strategize for. It happens through serendipity, or divine inspiration, timing. And playing allows you, I believe, to tap into that, because we don't live in a black and white linear world at all, and that's the deception. And I think play, it allows you to tap into a reality of, which allows you to tap into just different things, which again you could bring back to help you in with the challenge and stuff, or just allows you to be a better version of yourself. So yeah, I would say seeing play as a resource, and if you see it as a resource, just like anything else, you would like make the time for it. You could practically apply it.
Understand how it's of benefit to you,
and like
in the many different areas of your life.
Like it doesn't have to be big things. Like I mentioned earlier, like going out for a walk, and maybe, oh gosh, I used to do this thing where when I used to go out jogging, I used to say hello to all the trees that I passed. I used to be like, hello giant. Hello giant. I know it sounded
they
silly,
can
but
hear you.
I believe that.
No, they can. There's been
studies.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would greet the trees, and it felt like it made the jog easier when I was in conversation with these giants. And that for me is like play, but at the same time it's paired with something that looks super practical, and it is super practical. Like I'm jogging, I'm exercising. So I would say interweaving play in that way in your everyday, like when you're cooking, you listen to music, you're dancing. You're going out to exercise, you're listening to, it's all music related, but I don't know, you're having certain conversations, thought experiments in your head, kind of thing, that allows you to just kind of experiment with new perspectives. So it doesn't have to be like, you know, anything big. It could be really subtle.
I was going to ask, have you noticed the difference, but I guess we're talking about this now, the different way in which people play, and what do you think about that sort of, you know, different cultures play differently, or people with different economic or social backgrounds. And do you see that sort of like within your work or daily life?
I see it with different people. It's really interesting to learn their perspectives or the ways that they play. And it's something I'm trying to be more sensitive to. And I think the more I embrace the dualities in myself, the more it helps me to embrace the dualities in other people, in that their play may not look like my play, but they have their version of play there, and it's being patient to discover that and uncover that and understand that. And I believe that's the sensitivity, because I feel like if we're not careful, we kind of impose play onto other people. Maybe there's something that you find funny. It's not funny to somebody else. It's actually hitting a very sensitive spot. It's allowing your play to be welcoming enough to bring other people into that world of play.
So that they can play with you.
Yeah, it's not pushing people out or being restrictive. Like the phrase that I've heard before, it's just a joke. And it's like, well, nobody laughed. So it was a joke to you, but like we all want to have fun. And I feel like that's the sensitivity of understanding we're all coming from different backgrounds, perspectives. We have different varying perspectives, experiences, etc., and being open within yourself to expand your own perspectives on play.
I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, actually, at this Bath Digital Festival, and the conversation got onto Pokemon Go. So we were talking about playing games, and Pokemon Go, hugely popular all around the world. We're not going to talk about what they did with the data.
Oh, wow.
But one of the points I had, because we've spoken before, a lot of my work and also your work is around cultural play. So, part of some of the comments I have about Pokemon Go, although it is fun running around, because I think, again, that does draw back into our childhood play and how we learn sort of playing on streets with other people, sort of in your area. But, things like having people and Pokemon Go and they're running around an estate where the people that live there have also become the objects within their play. Again, not play that's for everybody. It then becomes for a select few. So I hear you in the, can everybody play?
Yeah.
Is everybody enjoying this?
I mean, it's something I think about with the experiences that I try to create through the abstract generative art that I create on Touch Designer. I was questioning why I lean into that, because I could include 3D, I could include very literal worlds in there, like through the builds on Unreal Engine or making things on Unreal Engine. I could do that. But my spirit gravitates to abstract because it feels like something that everybody could be a part of. With abstract art, people resonate differently to different colors. It's not telling you what to see. It's encompassing of so many different perspectives on the color yellow and pink and green and everything in between. And it's abstract enough that you could project your own perspectives and reality onto it. It's not on you. It's not forcing on you how you should think or imagine, which allows you to be free in yourself, because the environment is non-linear. It's so fluid. It's so colorful and vivid and vivacious that it's almost inviting you to embody some of that as well, which is perfect in dance environments. And I think there was something that I read a couple years back around how nightclub designs were inspired by, oh gosh, don't quote me on this. I should have researched this. But like this like psychedelic art or movement. Like, and I guess that was intentional to encourage that energy within club settings or club environments. So for me, in my own way, when I'm leaning into generative abstract art, it's trying to evoke that as well, that fluidity, because I guess overstimulated is the word of the season, of the generation. And I'm not trying to add to that. Like, when I'm creating, I'm very much trying not to think as well. I want to just be, I want to be in myself. Okay. I want to feel free. And I'm hoping that people who experience the abstract nature of what I create, they also feel that as well. Again, not telling you what to think, not telling you what to see, or you could be free in your own self as well. Exactly. So it's led me down this rabbit hole of like researching, was it Jackson Pollock? Yeah. Mr. Pollock. Yeah. And the reasons why he lent into his drip paintings as well, which is to capture energy and movement, which is also almost giving me an extra layer of permission to do the same thing, because again, like, I'm not trying to impose, I'm just trying to capture an energy.
Yeah. So I'm going to move our question to sort of access and equity. So there are some disparities in play, and how people experience that access to play. Do you think that there are any things that, let's say, firstly, some factors within the industries that we sit in that contribute to the disparity? And do you think there are any interesting creative solutions that could help level the playing field? I think, for example, London, there are less outdoor spaces. Yeah. And
so from my perspective, there's two things that I'm observing. One of them is, I'm speaking from a creative artist perspective. Yes. We have so many tools to create. We have access to information like we've never had before. And yet and still, what I've observed within education and also when I do workshops and stuff like that is this massive lack of confidence, and which is affecting the ability to play and experiment and play around with all of these tools, which again, readily available, free in most cases. And I feel like a big reason for that cause for that is the stress, is the restriction that we're finding ourselves in our environments, the cuts to creative spending, fundings, all of these different environments, lack of third spaces. Things are so expensive now. And that pressure seeps into you as a creator, as an artist, as a person. You don't really feel like you can play because you're in a survival mode, you're in fight or flight mode. It's not the environment of
or you're working a project and it's got to be delivered, so you don't have that time that exploration time. Yeah. Do you think also there's a little bit of a fear of the tools themselves sometimes, because there are so many things to learn?
Yes, but more so I feel like it's the environment. It's the overarching messaging, because it's the overarching messaging around, like, I'm specifically thinking about like tools like AI. Yeah. There's a fear attached to it because that's by design. Yes. It's not because of the tool itself. And this is why, as much as I do like having conversations around it personally, I also don't like having conversations around it because it's interesting, but it's boring to me at the same time. Like, it's brilliant, but it's a tool. It's, like...
it is a tool.
And I know it's it's caused a whole shift. It's what I've heard a quote. It's the biggest shift since the Industrial Revolution or something. But at the end of the day, it's just a tool.
It is just a tool.
And you could use it in so many different ways. And it's so dependent on who is using it and the intentions that person has when they are using it. So I guess, and this is why I say it's the environment that surrounds the tool.
The tool, the environment, the education.
Yeah.
Because I think, especially if we're talking about AI, you're right, it's completely a tool. And it is about how you use it and the data that you're training on. I think the education in, getting people to understand what exactly AI is in that context. And then maybe the same for any of these other programs, platforms, what they are, how they're built, how they actually work. Yeah.
So I think for that reason, I think it's fostering a lot of fear. Sorry, I'm just like also thinking at the same time. So many different things.
We are in real time, so think away.
And I do empathize because it's overwhelming. It's like you have to carve out that time of calm and also blind belief. And I say blind because, again, like the external world doesn't really encourage that sense of like calm or like things will be okay. Like when you look at the economy, when you look at the things that are going on in the world, it is scary. And it's almost like you have to muster up an energy to create a bubble around you to play and see the value of play. But
and also I think maybe another conversation I was having yesterday, see the value in playing, because a lot of play is like, I do something, it doesn't work, so then I try something else and maybe that'll work and take me on. And there may be an element of people, you saying, not feeling that they have that time or space to be able to do that play where it's like, I tried this, it didn't work, I tried that, happy accident, that happened, I'm going to follow down that route. And people maybe don't feel that they have that time to be that playful.
And this is why I'm remembering an earlier question that you asked around, it doesn't have to be a big kind of, it could seep into the everyday actions, moments. Like when using these tools, think about it related to your interests. If you love travel, if you love reading, then you apply the tools to your existing interests. It doesn't have to be this kind of grandiose and playing with, in this kind of loud way. It's like it's another layer to what you're already doing. And then it becomes a way that you're chipping away at the hard exterior that is life, and you're creating more softness, like you're breaking away at the hardness and you're trying to get into the soft spots. I don't know what analogy that was, but you're doing your bit to to live a little bit more freely.
Get to the joyful core moments. Where all the magic happens, as they say. We are getting close to the end of our conversation. And it's been lovely. And we're going to, this last part is us taking some time to dream together about the future. So we are going to imagine what play might look like in 100 years from now.
Oh my God.
So 100 years into the future. So this is your time to use your imagination, to share your vision, whether it feels utopian, dystopian, radical, or something magically unexpected. So I'm going to give you some prompts. In 100 years into the future, will play still exist? Who will be the beneficiaries of play? Will there be more play in the world, or will people play less than they do now? Will play have evolved into a religion? Will it be viewed as a political stance or an economic system? Or will it have completely disappeared from human life?
You reading that just made me think about the book 1981. That's the one book I'm scared of. Like, I've read scary books, but that I cannot finish because it's too scary for me. the idea of Big Brother and like you can't think right and things are so restricted. Anyway, 100 years.
100 years into the future.
I would like to believe we have tapped into, because there are studies that say we have more than 7 senses.
Yes.
I would hope, not even hope, but 100 years.
This is your 100-year future. So it
okay.
could be whatever you want it to be.
We would have tapped into the hundreds of senses that we had, that we have within us, and we would be playing on whole other different realms. You see how like dolphins or whales like communicate with each other, these high pitched frequencies and stuff like that. Our play will be like so solar in that way, where like imagine like it, but it's like, you know how you do it, it's a physical thing, but it's like you're tagging someone through like, I don't know, like a smell or like a high frequency. I don't know. It's like, it's just.
So we'll have tapped into that part of our brain.
Yeah. And we would have tapped into that part of our brain, and we also would have tapped into our environment as well. We would play a lot more with our environment. Like currently it's like you got kids like playing on trees and climbing trees and stuff like that. But it would be I'd see it as like another layer of intertwining than that. We would have so much more understanding of our planet and nature that naturally we would play with our environment, with our plants, with our trees, with animals. We would have loosened our attachment to the technologies that we make a little bit more, and we would play with each other, and we would tap into all the different aspects within ourselves. Because currently when I think of adult play, it's sex. But there's so many different ways that we could be intimate with each other when it comes to play, adult play. And I know that the science is facilitating, there's so much research on this as well. Again, senses, intimacies, all of these different things. Like, I would hope that in 100 years we would have been a little bit more fluid in our play. It's so vague.
No, not at all. You're building a picture, so I can see it. I'm gonna close with a song that I'm listening to right now by Maisie on her Controller mixtape, and the song is called Play.
Conveniently, very fitting.
So thank you for coming, and thank you to whoever's listening to Can We Just Play? And my wonderful guest has been Olivia Emma, and
stay tuned.
Thank you. And on that note,
bye.
But play. I don't wanna work, I just wanna play the game. Every time you what way? You make a set of rules that you know I'm gonna break. Always come to light in black and white. You don't play nice, your hold is tight. I think I'm right, we're out of line. We can't deny, we day, night. All day, every day to my own flow. I play, baby, like there's no tomorrow. All day, every day to my own flow. I play, baby, like there's no tomorrow.
Play. 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 Play.
But play. I don't wanna work, I just wanna slay. I need you to move out my way. I don't make the rules, not my nature to obey. Always come to light in black and white. You don't play nice, your hold is tight. I think I'm right, we're out of line. We can't deny, we day, night. All day, every day to my own flow. I play, baby, like like there's no tomorrow. All day, every day to my own flow. I play, baby, like there's no tomorrow.